It has been 5 years since the last top 10 video I uploaded. My main channel has reached 1,000 subscribers since then. I had originally planned to upload another top 10 video near the end of 2018, but it never materialized. Maybe I should finally finish that video as a way to celebrate my channel hitting 1K. Hey guys, it's MrDIRECTOREIGHT's here, and welcome to another top 10 video! PBS. That name sounds familiar to you, right? Oh boy, aren't we off to a great start. What can I say about this logo? Well, first off, let's just mention the really migrating music this logo has. It's just a repeating symphony that gradually gets louder and just goes on and on and on. Okay, let's talk about whatever this thing is supposed to be. What is this? Is this supposed to be a tractor? No, I'm not feeling this. I'm never gonna get this video done, man. It's been so long since I made a video like this. Who the hell's gonna care at this point? I should just stick to doing music, man. Like, this is just a waste of my time.
Wake up, it's been 5 years since the last top 10 video. What are you doing?
Who's there?
Your channel's hit 1K subs. You're letting your fans down. Ian!
Mega Shadow?
Yes, it's me. What's up, bro? Look, it's been over 2 years since like your last actual video you uploaded, dude. Like, you've been so focused on music. Like, what's going on, dude? Like, did you forget where you started from?
Oh, face it. I'm never gonna get that video done. It's been way too long at this point. I'm rusty. I've lost my touch.
You say that, but deep down I know you still have it, dude. Like, your channel's only got big because what? Your top 10 videos. Like, look how many views you're getting. And you're just letting your fans down and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna sleep in. Like, dude, come on. Like, this is not the Ian I know.
You know what? You're right. Even if it might be one last time for old time's sake, there's no doubt people will gladly welcome me back. It's been long enough. My fans need me. I will finally finish this video, and I will make sure this comeback is bigger and better than ever.
There we go. That's the spirit.
MrDIRECTOREIGHT is back. Hey everyone, it's MrDIRECTOREIGHT here, and welcome to yet another top 10 video. I know what you guys might be thinking. It's been 5 years! Where have you been? Look y'all, I'm sorry, there was just a bunch of things that got in the way, then I lost motivation, but we're back, and I hope y'all are excited for this video. PBS, we're all familiar with that name, right? We know this channel for notably being a non-profit organization, and also being the home of various programs such as Nova, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, Arthur, Masterpiece, the list goes on. A lot of the shows this channel is known for are produced by stations affiliated with PBS, which of course have logos of their own. A good portion of these logos could be considered as some of the most iconic logos in television history. And then there's just a bunch of other logos that just suck! Okay, maybe I shouldn't be too harsh. They are a non-profit organization after all. But I still gotta judge some of these logos for what they are. Today we'll be looking at the top 10 cheesiest PBS logos. We're talking bottom of the barrel. Atrocious scanimation, ugly color schemes, unreadable fonts, weird music. This video's got it all. Alright, enough talking. I'm sure all of y'all are getting impatient, so let's just jump right into this list, shall we? Oh yeah, by the way, we all agree that KUCB doesn't count, right? No? Well, too bad, it's not on this list. Moving on. it's been 7 years since the original Top 10 Scary Logos video. I think it's time we retire the Blue Mountain bit. You had a good run. Now, let's introduce the brand new entry transitions. Oh boy, we're starting off this list pretty strong, aren't we? Is this supposed to be a logo for a weather channel in Minnesota or a PBS station in Minnesota? Because I can't tell. Why the weather theme? I'd understand if the shows they produced during this time were weather related, but if not, then this logo just seems random. Unless this is just Minnesota playing in on the stereotype that their state is all cold and snowy, then that's kinda clever, but I resist. The animation's a little rough, but it's actually pretty decent for the time. I rate it. The cheesiest part about this logo, however, probably has to be the music. Who the hell brought in a mariachi band? I mean, the music's catchy, but in the context of this logo, it just doesn't make sense. I think just having a nice calm synthesizer theme would have worked better. It would be more fitting for the time. But no, they just had to go with the goddamn mariachi band, because a silly little synthesizer wasn't gonna be enough. Overall, some really odd choices were made, but this logo isn't nearly as bad as some of the next logos coming up on this list. So Minnesota, consider yourselves lucky with this one. Let's continue on to number 9. If this is your alarm, you have to wake up to this every morning, then I feel so sorry for you. Like the previous logo, the music, if you can even call it that, is the cheesiest part about this logo, except it is 10 times more annoying than before. Loud repeating high-pitched synth tones do not make any logo better. The music is so repetitive and high-pitched that you actually get a ringing sound out of it. This is abysmal. This is literally a war crime against my eardrums. Visually, this logo is boring. You have a teal outline of the state of Idaho. In the background, you got some mountains, and then they just slapped a bunch of text over the logo and called it a day. They didn't even try. This logo is lifeless, and the music is super irritating. Easily worse than the previous logo. Unfortunately, however, we're at number 9 so far, and things are only going to go more downhill from here. Good lord, man, this just reeks of 80s cheese. Where do I even start with this one? Well, let's start with the color scheme. Purple and gold, and some really dull looking shades of these colors on top of that? I don't know, man, but to me, these colors just don't mesh well together. I actually could have included this on my top 10 ugliest logos video. This color scheme is not it. The shining effects feel really dated, and this animation has that weird thing going on where, for the most part, the animation feels pretty smooth, but there are a couple odd moments where it feels kind of choppy. Also, what is going on with this N? I get what they were trying to do. They wanted part of the N to be connected to the circle, but the way it just curves looks super gross. Also, was the copyright information really that necessary? I feel like including that in there just clashes with the design more than anything. And let's not forget about the music. My god, this just sounds cheap. Oh, but Mr. Director Ray, technically the music is part of the original theme for the show Computer Chronicles. I don't care. Nobody's safe. If anything, that just comes off as lazy. Also, fun fact, they didn't even produce that show. So why is the music for this logo the end portion of a theme song to a show that they didn't even produce? That just boggles my mind. This logo's design is very cheesy, and the confusing situation with the music is just baffling. But we still got a long way to go, so let's move on to number 7. Oh, okay, this one isn't so bad. Oh god! Oh Jesus, it got so much louder, and my ears are bleeding. Why is it that both of the logos that I have on this list that have mountains in the background just so happen to have some of the most ear-grating music I've ever heard in my life? Like, this logo has no sense of volume balancing whatsoever. It starts off fine, but then as it keeps going, my ears feel like they want to leave my body and just grow some legs and walk away like, nah, I'm not dealing with this today. I'm out. On the other hand, the animation for this logo is pretty decent. It's just your typical 80s style logo with some flashy effects with some mountains in the background. It's nothing too crazy. However, if you look closely, you can tell that the words are just chroma keyed over the mountain footage, which just feels cheap. But yeah, the music just completely destroys this logo's potential. It's like trying to be all dreamy, but instead, it just murders my eardrums. I wonder how many people in Salt Lake City had to have their ears sacrificed whenever this logo appeared on TV, because this logo's music is a menace to society. This logo is the definition of rubbing salt in a wound. The animation may be a standard for its time, but the music is a completely different story, and a rather displeasing one at that. Well, what do we have here? Looks like someone decided to come back for more. This is the first out of a few logos on this list that I've talked about in the past, this one in particular first appearing in my ugliest logos video. Looking back at this, I feel like I was being too harsh on this logo, but at the same time a lot of my points still stand here. So yeah, not really much of an update from before. And because of this, I will actually be passing this one off to someone else so that I'm not just repeating myself and you're just listening to me ramble on about this logo again. So take it away.
Hello, my name is Matt, but more commonly known as UltraMac Productions here on YouTube. Right off the bat, we've got some funky video game-esque music that I personally do not like, but the graphics that accompany the letters forming is pretty cool. The weird background looks like something that was generated by a computer, and the coloring is really weird. The coloration is the same as the pus that's oozing out of an infected scab I have on my finger, with some additional orangey purple at the bottom. Overall, I really want to give this logo a 3 out of 5, but the music throws me off too much, so I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Thank you, UltraMac, for talking about this cheesy logo. Also, before we move on from here, I just wanted to bring something up. I don't know if this is just me, but hear me out. The last synth note in the music, to me, kind of sounds like someone saying trees. Look, you guys can call me crazy all you want, okay? But that's what I hear. I'm sure there has to be someone out there that agrees with me. Well, anyway, we are doing a show here, so we gotta get a move on. Alright, everyone, we're halfway through this list. You know what that means? Another commercial break. Seriously, I don't know why I keep letting these people advertise on my programs. It's a contract thing. We're obligated to show them. It's complicated. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages. Stick around. This program is brought to you apart by these manufacturers. From the makers of the paper mirror, the liquid mirror, and the invisible mirror, introducing the newest member of the mirror family, the cardboard mirror. Following the success of our other products, we decided to make a new mirror out of cardboard. We see this as a successor to the paper mirror, and we guarantee it works better than ever. Just hear what our customers have to say. Alright, you know what? This has gone on for too long. This is literally a scam. You took a piece of cardboard and you're trying to sell it off as a mirror. I want to talk to the person that's responsible for these products. I'm sick of it! Oops.
I forgot.
What the fuck? Order now! Are you tired of not knowing how to play that decade-old keyboard you have? No. Do you need a simpler instrument in your life instead of using a complicated program like FL Studio? No, I actually like using this program. Well, we have the solution just for you. Introducing this thing that definitely isn't just a lid for a metal pot. This instrument is definitely not what you think it is. You take the instrument, put it under a running sink faucet with some warm water, then rub your hand over the knob. It'll make this really funny noise. Don't just take our word for it. Listen to what another satisfied customer had to say.
What lid?
Oh my god, what are you doing? I just cleaned the dishes.
Shut up, Shruti! Nobody asked you!
Okay then. This thing that definitely isn't just a lid for a metal pot. Order now! Remember the iPhone 69s Plus? Well, step aside, pair. This is the brand new Galactic K25 Plus Ultra from Samsung. This phone is for the real ones who grew a pair, unlike those that bought an iPhone from Pair. Why make 69 different models of your phone when you can make 420 different variations of the same thing? With this new model, we decided to move all the buttons to the right side, so now it's completely inconvenient and uncomfortable for everybody.
Hell.
We also decided to get rid of the LED light that pops on when you charge your phone or receive notifications, because we spent the entire budget on expanding the screen and also on our brand new Ultra 4K 60 FPS HD cameras. Yeah, you thought the iPhone 69s Plus was the only phone that had 3 cameras on the back? Well, guess what? We got 3 cameras too, bitch. We made it easier than ever to catch anybody down bad lacking. Here's what a happy customer had to say about our product. The new Galactic K25 Plus Ultra from Samsung. We suck, because you suck too. Order now! We now return to your program. I don't understand why we can't just get actual sponsors for this program. These commercials are literally the worst thing Oh, we're back? They didn't cancel us? Oh, thank God, okay. Welcome back to MrDIRECTOREIGHT's Top 10 Cheesiest PBS Logos. Hopefully they didn't send us a cease and desist yet. We'll be looking at the next 4 logos on our list, then a showcase of the honorable mentions, followed by a quick recap, and finally ending it off with the #1 cheesiest PBS logo of all time. Let's get right to it. Alright, now we're really getting into some shit. This one is rather infamous in the logo community, as it is a prime example of why you shouldn't put dark blue and lime green together, although there are multiple other reasons as to why this logo is cheesy. The music isn't necessarily bad, it's actually pretty groovy, but for the time, it kind of felt out of place as this was during the era where the trend of disco was starting to die off. That's like the only positive thing I have to say about this logo though. On the other hand, visually this logo is horrendous. The animation feels super cheap and rough around the edges, and the end result just looks really ugly. The green outline around the abstract SC design and the company name looks as if someone spilled some green glow stick liquid or toxic waste over it. This is just grim. Also, the sparkle on top of the SC just feels really tacky and unnecessary. This is like the result of inviting your kid to bring your child to work day, and they make this logo, and then you realize that the company has to use it because you don't want to make your kid sad if they don't. Okay, clearly I'm over-exaggerating, but you get my point. This logo sucks, it has a bad color scheme, poor scan-animated effects, and music that, while decent, just didn't fit the era. Just be lucky that you're at number 5 South Carolina. We're really about to hit the threshold of hell with these next few logos. It's only going to get worse from here. This logo is off the goddamn charts. Who approved of this? First off, the company's name is long as hell. I mean, good lord. Was there really no way to shorten it? You just had to stick to this long ass name. You couldn't try to mash the two together or just come up with something else. Secondly, this logo has some really cheesy scanimation. I get what they were trying to do with the whole film reel concept, but it's definitely not going to be easy for people to figure out what this logo is trying to convey at first glance. Also, they were just having a field day animating this warping text. They were doing all the things that you shouldn't do with scanimate. Just not nearly as awful as what's about to come up later on this list. The color scheme is typical for a logo from this time period. Obviously not as bad as the previous logo, but you definitely won't see a modern logo rocking a color scheme like this, that's for sure. And last but certainly not least, the music. Oh my god, this has to be some of the most annoying and cheapest sounding synth music I have ever heard. It's like trying to be all fun and cheery, but I'm pretty sure if I trapped somebody in a room and I played this on loop and they couldn't escape, this music would quickly turn into a torturing device. It's like the composer of this logo found a random synthesizer that someone threw away outside of their faculties and decided to use it for this logo without having any prior knowledge as to how to use it. I'd like to imagine this is how that scenario went. Hey man, look what I found! Whoa, is that a synthesizer? Yeah, we should use it for our brand new fancy logo. Alright, let's try it out. Play us something. Okay. Oh god, please make it stop! Alright, maybe that was a bit dramatic, but I feel like that's probably how it went down. Bottom of the line, this logo is dreadful. It has some really cheesy music and utilizes some scanimated effects that might have been ahead of their time, but they also end up being a product of that era at the same time. It's just a really weird and annoying logo. Now that we got that out of the way, let's move on to the terrible 2s! Or rather, the terrible 3s in this case. Holy mother of God in heavens, what the hell is this logo? This list is really just turning into scanimation madness. I mean, seriously. I don't care if this possibly only appeared on one program, it still counts. KWSU is another returning logo on this list, although I feel like most of y'all wouldn't have known that because I didn't actually talk about this logo. That's because this was previously an honorable mention in my top 10 scary logos video, and I only briefly talked about it. Although to be fair, it should have been on the actual list. MTM had absolutely no business being on that list at all. That logo just isn't scary. Anyway, let's talk about this dumpster fire. If I had to describe this logo in one word, it would have to be, let's see, oh yeah, bad. This font is awful. The name of the station is KWSU, but the font they used makes it look like it says CWSU or CUSU. Can you even call that a K? Also, yes, the Scanimated effects are really cheesy, but what the hell is up with this trail effect? It's just in the way. It's sloppily placed on top of everything else. It looks like a bunch of blue goop somehow got on the videotape and it's just seeping into it. Also, let's not forget, neon pink and blue on a black background. Great color scheme, guys. It definitely doesn't just make me want to rip my eyeballs out of my head. By the way, the music sounds like something out of an Atari game. It's trying to be all hip and cool, but instead it just sounds like someone pressing a bunch of random keys on a synthesizer while they're having a stroke. Terrible animation, a color scheme that's hard on the eyes, a completely unreadable font, ear-gritting music. This one's got it all. This is truly the definition of a bad logo, and it somehow managed to slip under the radar and got off pretty lucky many times before. Unfortunately, I couldn't let it slide this time, and it was probably for the best. Speaking of unreadable fonts... Man, this logo just never fails to rank highly on these lists. The last time I reviewed this logo, I said it was the ugliest logo I've ever seen. And that kind of still applies here. In my top 10 ugliest logos video, I made a couple points about this logo that just didn't really make sense, such as comparing it to the logo UNC TV used after this and saying that one was just as bad but also not as bad at the same time. Yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking there. Anyway, my opinion on this logo hasn't really changed all that much. I still think it's pretty ugly and just really cheesy all around. So instead of having to repeat myself, I'm going to pass the mic off to someone else for this one. Give it up for them.
Hello, it's Larry the Lone Wolf again. I'm happy to be here. It's been a while since I collaborated with my friend MrDIRECTOREIGHT, especially on a logo video. So to congratulate him for getting 1,000 subscribers, I agreed to critique a logo that he hates, and I'm happy to tear it apart. UNC TV from 1971. Wow, I love it when a logo tries to be original but ends up looking like a bad art project. As a graphic designer, you need to create a logo that's distinctive, inventive, and reflects your brand in a classy yet artistic way. UNC TV, sadly, fails at that. To put it simply, the font looks ugly. It looks like someone was trying to make their own font, but it looks like a discombobulated snake. Whoever created this font, do better. The music? I don't know. It sounds like it should be a theme for a family-friendly studio, like Family Home Entertainment, but that's just me. Also, this one really annoys me. Why does the word presents look like it has a J at the end? I have no idea what they were thinking. Honestly, this really puzzles me. Why is there a J at the end? That looks stupid. Did anyone check this before they... You know what? Never mind. The animation is actually decent for a logo made in the early 70s, but the overall design is a disaster. The colors are boring, the music is bland, the font is ugly, and it's on a black background. How nice, right? Do you realize that a team of people sat at a table, had a discussion, and came up with this, and they were like, this works. What a wonderful piece of art we made to represent our TV studio. Well done, guys. Whoever made this should be embarrassed. If you're watching this, I have one tip. Do better.
Thank you, Larry, for taking over my duties for a brief moment. After taking a look at these logos, you could say that these last few have been particularly bad. But what if I told you there was a PBS logo that is even worse than what we just saw? Well, there's only one way to find out. But before we get to the number one cheesiest PBS logo of all time, let's take a look at some honorable mentions.
This is PBS, the Public Broadcasting Service.
A production of the Maine Public Broadcasting Network.
And now here's a quick recap of what you just watched. Number 10, the Weather Channel in Minnesota with background music performed by a mariachi band. Number 9, the next worst thing since the iPhone radar alarm. Number 8, this logo is actually so cheesy that I can't even think of anything to say about it. Number 7, this logo made my ears bleed. Number 6, this is probably what it looks like when you take acid while on the beach. Number 5, someone spilled green glow stick liquid all over this logo. Number 4, the most annoying music and the longest company name in the history of ass. Number 3, I bet the people that made this logo were to type to snort weed. And number 2, what was previously known in my opinion as the number 1 ugliest logo ever. And the honorable mentions were, number 1, 2 South Carolina logos for the price of 1. Nice. Or, wait, is that a good thing? Number 2, okay, actually this one's just kind of funny. Number 3, the most generic logo in the world. Number 4, we used our test card as our logo. Trust me, we definitely weren't just being lazy. And finally, number 5, WGBH Boston's long-lost cousin from Maine. Ugh, what is that? Do you smell something? It smells like an overabundance of cheese?
In the Delaware Valley, this is Channel 12.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer every night.
Okay. There is only one word that I have on my mind right now. What? Look, I know throughout this video we've been joking around about how bad and cheesy these logos are and that they're the bane of my existence or whatever, but forget all that shit we just talked about. This has to be one of the worst logos I have ever come across. This logo actually sucks. Take all the worst things about KWSU and UNC-TV and morph them together. This is what you're gonna get. The copious amounts of video feedback is basically like the saturated fats of this logo. What numbnuts thought adding such excessive trail effects was a good idea? You have to wonder what this logo looked like before they added all this obnoxious effects to it. It was probably just a sad little logo on a black background. And honestly, perhaps they were better off just keeping it that way. This is a literal eyesore to look at, and it might even trigger someone to have a seizure attack. How was this approved? The standards must have been really low for this to even see the light of day. On the other hand, the music isn't terrible, but it is the typical 80s cheese you would expect for a logo like this. Also, I feel bad for the announcer, because he probably didn't know his voiceover was going to be used for this abomination. At least the font is readable, but I think they only did that to compensate for how much of a train wreck the rest of the logo is. But you want to know what the worst part is? WHYY is my local PBS station. I mean, I know they specifically say Delaware in this item, but they also serve Philly. That's my city. So the fact that this logo comes from a PBS station based in my hometown, and I have this at the top of my list and said it's actually one of the worst logos I've ever seen, really says something. I mean, I definitely want to put this over FEDYO, or the Video Bancorp, or even LA Hero, which, by the way, that was a completely missed opportunity for me to include that in my top 10 worst logos video, but to be fair, I didn't know about its existence at that time. Anyway, in my opinion, this is definitely the cheesiest PBS logo, and also one of the worst logos of all time, without question. Lesson learned, if you ever want to make a logo, this is not how you do it. My work here is done. Enough said. Well, there you have it. Just like that, we've already reached the end of the video. If you stuck around for this long, let me just say thank you so much for watching. This video took so long for me to get done. It has been such a hassle for me to do. And you can tell considering the fact that it took me over 5 years to finish, which I deeply apologize for that. I was having a creative block while originally writing the script for this video back in 2018, and then I decided to just focus on making music, and then things in my personal life got in the way, but I'm glad that I finally got this video out. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for all of you. I want to give a huge shout out to Mega Shadow, Larry the Lone Wolf, UltraMac Productions, and whoever else I end up getting in this video after I record this for helping me out with this. For those I didn't name, I'll put your names up on the screen while editing. I wanted this to be a big special event, plus I needed help with some ideas, so I tried to get as many people as I could involved with this. Also, once again, thank you all so much for getting this channel to 1,000 subscribers. That is insane! I love the support y'all have given this channel for years, and I can't thank y'all enough. I got more big things coming up this year, mainly with music, but I've already been thinking about another idea for a top 10 list, but I won't say too much in case it ends up falling through, so no promises. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I upload, and in case YouTube doesn't push it to you, you don't miss it. And this is MrDIRECTOREIGHT signing off. Have a good night, everybody.